Yo, what's going on, everybody? It is your boy Fitz TV here, aka Lauren33, back here with another video on the channel for you guys today. And before y'all go rush into the comments section, right, say, Fitz, you're 2 weeks late. Yeah, I know. I was on vacation. I saw the trailer. I didn't have my equipment with me to make a video when I was in the middle of the Caribbean. All right, I'm a couple weeks late. I know. All right, but that wasn't going to stop me from making a video. I just had to make a video later than everybody else did. But yes, we're talking about Budokai Tenkaichi 4. All right, and this video is going to be split up into different parts. I hope it's not a super long video, but there's a good amount I want to say and kind of do in this video. All right, and first things first, I was on vacation. So I could not make a video. I didn't have my equipment with me. And when I saw the trailer, I was with my cousin. And we grew up playing Budokai Tenkaichi. And we lost our minds when we saw the announcement. At first, I thought it was fake. And then I saw DBZ Hype tweeted, and I knew it was real because I trust that guy more than anybody else in the community when it comes to Dragon Ball news. Him and Geekdom 101. You know? So when I saw DBZ Hype tweet that Budokai Tenkaichi 4 teaser trailer dropped, I lost my shit in the middle of the ocean. I yelled, and everyone around me was like, what's wrong with that guy? But I yelled. Just to give you guys background, I'm 23 years old, and I've been playing the Budokai Tenkaichi games my entire life. You know, the first game I ever played when I was a little kid was Budokai 2 on the GameCube, right? But I played Budokai Tenkaichi 2 and 3 with my cousin. I used to go down to visit him all the time, and that was the game. I remember the first time I was exposed to the Budokai Tenkaichi series, I went to my cousin's house for Thanksgiving. I think I was either 6 or 7 years old, and one of my older cousins was playing the mission where you have to fight like 1,000 coolers again and again and again from the Budokai Tenkaichi 2 story mode. All right, and I played the game. I love it. I still have it. My PS2 is right next to me with the Budokai Tenkaichi 3 disc because I had been playing it just to relive it and kind of get myself ready for Budokai Tenkaichi 4. And I'm so hyped. You know, for years we've wanted either a Raging Blast 3 or a Budokai Tenkaichi 4. And the fact that we're finally getting a Budokai Tenkaichi 4 after, 15 years since Budokai Tenkaichi 3 came out is absolutely insane. All right, absolutely insane, and I am so happy. So happy. Budokai Tenkaichi laid down the foundation for what an arena fighting game should be. Like, seriously, the only problem with Budokai Tenkaichi is, of course, now the graphics, but that was back in 2007. We've come such a long way. Video games have evolved so much in the last 15 years. Remember, that was back in the PS2 days. We've had now 3 generations of consoles in the last 15 years. PS2, PS3, PS4, and PS5, right? And Budokai Tenkaichi 4, or whatever this game is going to be called, is going to be on the PS5 and the Xbox Series X. And, you know, based on what we've seen in this trailer, this is going to be one of the most hyped Dragon Ball games of all time. And I just pray it delivers. We don't know who the developer is, right? You know, Spike was the ones that developed the prior Budokai Tenkaichi games, but it might not be them. Spike has not been doing that well when it comes to fighting games lately, so it could be a different developer. But I have faith in Bandai. They would not be releasing this game if they didn't think it was going to look good and be what Budokai Tenkaichi is supposed to have. All right. I am so hyped for this game. Even though we have very little details for it, I'm so hyped for it. I don't know if we're going to get the game this year, if I'm being honest. I think the amount of work that's going to have to go into this game for it to look as good as we expect it to be and for it to play well and be what Budokai Tenkaichi is supposed to be, honestly, I would not be surprised if this game doesn't release till late this year, early next year. You know, but we'll see. You know, this is just a teaser trailer that we got, and it's a very small teaser trailer. But And if I'm being honest, yeah, we probably won't really get this game in its full until probably late this year and early next year. But I do want to just show the trailer really quick again. You guys have probably already seen it, but I love this trailer because this game was so good. The super attacks, right? Everything, the gameplay. It's just as the graphics. But remember, this was 2007. The graphics for what Budokai Tenkaichi 4 is going to look like, if it plays like this, oh, it's going to be absolutely insane. When I first saw this, I thought we're getting a Budokai Tenkaichi collection. We're finally getting a remaster for, PS5, Xbox Series S. But no, we get this. With the transition into, the modern day with Goku transforming the Super Saiyan Blue, it's insane. Clearly, it's an Easter egg to how Goku transformed in the Broly movie, right? But I love it. And then, of course, you get Namek in the background. And, of course, this is a new Budokai Tenkaichi begins. Remember, in Japan, the Budokai Tenkaichi series is called Sparkling. Here in the West, it's called Budokai Tenkaichi. But I will say this, I don't know if this is officially what Goku's Super Saiyan Blue transformation is going to be. I think this is more of a cutscene, right? I think this last image, this last frame, it is probably from the actual game itself, right? And, and if it is, Goku looks absolutely amazing. His model looks clean, the Super Saiyan Blue hair, right? I love how Namek looks. But I think this part over here, right? I don't the transition is amazing, but I think this is more just like a cutscene for the teaser trailer. I don't know if Goku's actual transformation into Super Saiyan Blue is gonna be like this. This, I think, is from the actual game. I think this is actually from the game, but I think everything else before that is just a cutscene. But I don't know. I'm not the one making the game. But still, based on this looks amazing. The graphics look good. His model, just comparing that to Budokai Tenkaichi 3, it's a 15-year difference. You can see how much games have come along since then, right? But that's not the only thing I wanted to do in this video. So I want to give a shout out to Globaku. I hope I'm pronouncing his name correct. I've been subscribed to him for years, but he did a amazing video, I think, where he talked about what the roster could look like, right? And I think, I did want to do a little bit of reacts because I watched this video beforehand, and I've been thinking about this. My wish list is not as extensive as some people, all right? What I want from Budokai Tenkaichi 4 is I want the character roster to be amazing. We know how amazing Budokai Tenkaichi 2 and 3. The character roster for those two games were amazing. Remember, there was only about 60-something characters, 60 to 80 characters in the first Budokai Tenkaichi game. Tenkaichi 2, it went up to 140 something. They added 70-something characters in Budokai Tenkaichi 2. Then Budokai Tenkaichi 3, they only added about 20-something characters, but the roster was amazing, right? What I expect from Budokai Tenkaichi 4, I want an amazing roster. I expect most of the Tenkaichi 3 roster, if not all of them. But I want most of the Tenkaichi 3 roster and, of course, super characters. I think Budokai Tenkaichi 4 needs to have a Dragon Ball Super focus. We've played through the DBZ story in almost every single Dragon Ball game. I'm not saying I don't want the DBZ story in Tenkaichi, but I want it to be more super focused because we have not had a game that has focused on the Dragon Ball Super story. With all the Dragon Ball games that have come out, DBZ Kakarot, Dragon Ball FighterZ, Dragon Ball Legends, right? The Xenoverse series, they have not focused on Super. Xenoverse 2 has done a little bit with Super, right? But remember, Xenoverse is a little bit different. They focus more on changing history, and it's a time travel story. It's not, it's not like your traditional Dragon Ball game, which focuses on the story. And Dragon Ball FighterZ was an original story, which was really, really cool, right? The Budokai Tenkaichi game, I'm not expecting, you to be able to create your own fighters, things like that. We'll see. That would be super awesome if you can. But what I want from Budokai Tenkaichi is I want a character roster that is amazing, what I expect from the Budokai Tenkaichi series, and I want a Dragon Ball Super focus. I hope the story mode centers more around Dragon Ball Super, retelling Battle of Gods, Resurrection F, Universe 6, Universe 7, right? The Goku Black Arc, Determinate of Power, the Broly movie. Will they tell the moral arc and the granola arc? We'll see. It'll depend. A lot of that's going to probably depend on what they do for DLC and also what happens when the Dragon Ball Super anime comes back. We know that Dragon Ball is supposed to come back with some type of anime this year. Hopefully Dragon Ball Super. But at this time, we still don't have any details. And it's March. It's almost April, right? Hopefully soon we do get details. But if, Dragon Ball Super does come back, or hopefully we get the More arc and the Granola arc, etc. But we'll have to wait and see what they actually have planned, what they have in store. But yeah, I want a great character roster. I want a Dragon Ball Super focus. I have no problem with them having the DBZ story in there, but I hope it focuses a lot on Dragon Ball Super story. Right? Put the DBZ story kind of as like extra stuff, right? Have the main story mode focus on Super, since most people have not had a chance to play that in a Dragon Ball video game, and then you can add the DBZ stuff as extra. Or you can do everything. You can do the DBZ story and then also add the Dragon Ball Super story as well. Remember, I know a lot of people have played the Budokai Tenkaichi 4 mod, which is just a Tenkaichi 3 mod, and in that they have, the Dragon Ball Super story, but remember, this is now the official release with Budokai Tenkaichi 4 with this game, and I really want that Dragon Ball Super focus. Have DBZ in there, but I wanted more focus on Super, if anything. And of course, my other thing is, I expect the graphics and the visuals to be amazing. I'm not worried about that. I want the gameplay to have that Budokai Tenkaichi style with the modern day controls and other elements added to that, right? We have no idea how the game's going to play because we have no idea how the game's going to look. We don't have any gameplay yet, right? But if it has that classic Budokai Tenkaichi Raging Blast fighting, arena fighting style, right, with the updated graphics and things like that, and some other elements, since this is now a new era of gaming with PS5 and Xbox Series X, then this game has the potential to be the greatest Dragon Ball video game of all time. The hype is only going to keep rising the more information that we get, right? That's really my wish list. The roster, a Dragon Ball Super story, or a Dragon Ball Super centered story, and the gameplay to have that Budokai Tenkaichi feel for the modern day consoles. All right. But Globaku, like I said, he did a amazing video earlier where he went through what he thinks the Tenkaichi 4 roster could. And remember, it's gonna be super difficult because the Budokai Tenkaichi 3 had 160 characters in it, and that was 15 years ago without Dragon Ball Super. Of course, all right, you could kind of limit that because you remember, a lot of those characters had forms and transformations, right? And that counts as a separate character. Like, you have base Goku and Super Saiyan Goku technically counts as two characters, even though Super Saiyan Goku is just Goku transformed. But still, he did a great video of what the Budokai Tenkaichi 4 could look like if of course it focuses a lot on super characters with DBZ characters as well. This thing doesn't have what he does here. It doesn't include GT characters or Dragon Ball characters or really any of the characters from the movies. And like I said, we have no idea what the Tenkaichi 4 roster is going to look like. We do have to, it's important to note, it's very important to note that since this is now 2023, to make a character in this day of age takes a lot of storage. It takes a lot of files. It's not as easy as it was 15 years ago back when we had PS2s, right? And the graphics were different. if we want this game to look good and we want these characters to have their details, their moves, their motions, everything like that, it takes a lot. It's going to take a lot of work. It takes hours of work. So it is important to note that to make just one version of Goku with all his transformations, that takes so much time and energy. So it can look as good as we want it to look for a Dragon Ball game in 2023. So there's a chance that there's a lot of characters that don't make it into the base game, and they all get released in DLCs. But if this game is good and it lives up to the hype, this could be the best Dragon Ball game of all time, like I said earlier. You can release 10 DLC packs adding all these characters if this game lives up to the hype that it should have, you know? And that could be Dragon Ball Super characters, Dragon Ball GT characters, characters from other Dragon Ball Heroes if they want to go down that route. Look at Xenoverse 2 came out 7 years ago, 2016, and we've had, 15 DLC packs, and we're getting another one in a couple months from the Dragon Ball Super superhero movie. Like, that's the potential for this game. Like, I know basically everyone's forgotten it because remember, Xenoverse 3 is in development, but everyone's completely forgotten about that because we have this game. This has the chance to be the most hyped and the best Dragon Ball game of all time if it delivers. So even if we don't get some characters in the base game, I'm willing to bet they already have plans to release a bunch of characters through DLC. Just because they want to make sure they get those details down to perfection, that the characters play and look the way they should. Plus, they know people are going to spend money. Look at Xenoverse. Like I said, Xenoverse has been out for 7 years. Xenoverse 2 has been out for 7 years, and they're still releasing DLC because they know people like me and other Dragon Ball fans are going to buy the DLCs. Because Xenoverse 2 is still a very good game, right? It's still a very good game, and people are going to buy the DLCs for those games. But, I know I'm talking a lot, but we're going to react here to Goku's video of what the Budokai Tenkaichi 4 could look like if it has a Dragon Ball Super focus. Like I said, I love how he did here. That's the reason why I'm reacting it and putting it into this video. So, let's go. Let's check it out.
Screen is already 6 characters.
So he starts off, of course, with Goku from Super, right? And remember, the reason why he has a 6 next to his name is that includes what the transformations would look like. This is a Goku that is focused on Dragon Ball Super. All right, notice it has none of his DBZ transformations. You will see later on that he does have Goku, a DBZ version of Goku in here. But remember, for this video, right, he's focused on what the Tenkaichi 4 roster would look like with a Dragon Ball Super focus, right? So, Goku, Super Saiyan God in his base, Super Saiyan God, Blue, Kaioken Blue, UI Sign, Master Ultra Instinct. Remember, every transformation counts as a separate character.
And I know it's missing some transformations. Chill. We'll get there. There's no Dragon Ball without Vegeta. He would have all of these transformations too. Same number
Super
as Goku.
Saiyan,
This
Super
Vegeta
Saiyan God, Blue, Blue Evolve,
and notice
Ultra
that we have
Ego.
Ultra Instinct Goku and Ultra Ego Vegeta, which is a very strong duo for promotion. Maybe even the cover of the game. The fusions, Vegito and Gogeta.
Oh man, I think the cover. I'm already giving my prediction for the cover. The cover is either going to be Super Saiyan Blue, Goku, and Vegeta, or I think it's going to be something like Ultra Instinct Goku, Ultra Ego Vegeta, or something like Ultra Instinct Goku and Super Saiyan Blue Evolution Vegeta. I think, but I think no matter what, it will be some form of Goku and Vegeta on the cover of the game.
Also,
so he has Vegeta, or he has Vegito and Gogeta from Dragon Ball Super.
And Gogeta also shows up in the Broly arc, and he's 3 characters as well. For the rest of the cast, we would need.
And you also got to remember here, this is a DBS version of Gogeta and Vegito,
Trunks,
right?
Which would have
remember, you can always add a DBZ version of Vegito and Gogeta. You can do pretty much whatever you want, right? In Xenoverse, of course, there's a DBZ version of Vegito and a DBS version of Vegito. There's also a DBS version of Gogeta and a DBZ version of Gogeta. But like I said, they can do whatever they want, pretty much. But yeah, Vegito and Gogeta being in the game with their transformations is, that's expected. We've never seen Super Saiyan God, Vegito, or Gogeta outside, I think, of maybe Dragon Ball Heroes. So I don't expect him to have that transformation in this game unless that changes in the future in the DBS manga or something like that. Of course, you had Trunks, base Super Saiyan, Super Saiyan 2, Super Saiyan Raids. Makes sense, right? Makes perfect sense. Gohan from Dragon Ball Super, right? You could just say the superhero movie, whatever, right? Base, Gohan, Super Saiyan, Gohan, Ultimate, and of course his Beast. So that's 4 different versions of Gohan. And if you want, you could put a DBZ version of Gohan in there, right? That's separate, which would be base Gohan, Super Saiyan 2 Gohan, and Ultimate Gohan, like they had in all the prior games before, Dragon Ball Super. Piccolo, this would be exciting because Piccolo never had transformations before the superhero movie, but now you can do that. It's always just been one normal version of Piccolo, right, with different like loadouts as he got more powerful in DBZ. But thanks to Dragon Ball Superhero, you can have base Piccolo, we can have Ultimate Piccolo with his potential unleashed, and an orange Piccolo. So that I hope they have that in Budokai Tenkaichi 4. That will be hype.
He's 3 characters in total. And then we add the rest of the tournament to power roster.
So we'll speed through this a little bit, right? Of course, the rest of the Z fighters: Krillin, Tien, 17, 18, and Master Roshi. So we'll skip through this a little bit. Yamcha should be in the game, right? You can make an argument for Chachu just because Chachu was in Tenkaichi 3. He wasn't in Xenoverse. I don't remember the last game that Chachu was in as a playable character since Tenkaichi 3, if I'm being honest. I don't think people are going to complain much if Chachu's in this game or not. Of course, if you want to have the huge roster, like, you could put Chachu in there, but he doesn't need to be. But of course, you need to have Yamcha in there. I know Yamcha has not done nothing in Super. I know Yamcha has done almost nothing in Super outside of like the Moro arc in the manga, but Yamcha should be in there. There would be too much fan outrage.
Let's go through Dragon Ball Super real
He doesn't have Hercule in this list. Hercule's going to be on there. I really think that a good way, and like I said, this is my video, so I'm going to talk as much as I want. So I know if you get annoyed that I'm pausing this, just go watch his video. I'm reacting to his video. This is my video, just to be clear. So I'll pause and talk for as much as I want. Anyway, sorry. That's a quick side note. I think a very good way for them to go about this is look at what they did with Xenoverse 2. I don't know off the top of my head how many characters in Xenoverse 2, but Xenoverse 2 has, an amazing roster of characters. And, they're almost missing no characters. Or none of the major characters. So if Budokai Tenkaichi 4 wants to keep it simple, right, they could really just go based off Xenoverse 2's roster with the DLC characters included, which we all know the majority of the DLC characters in Xenoverse 2 are from Dragon Ball Super, but still.
The first arc, we add Beerus and Whis.
So yes, Beerus and Whis, yep. All right, Frieza from Super. You can add a DBZ version of Frieza, which he does later. But you have Frieza from Dragon Ball Super, right? His final form, his golden form, and his black form. People who read the manga know what that is. We're not going to go into too much detail. That's just from the Granola arc, right? But that's 3 versions of Frieza right there. And that's not even counting DBZ Frieza.
Arc is also going to have Black. Yep, Black Frieza is the thing. We're not going to elaborate any further. And of course, we already have.
All right, Goku Black, right? Yep. Base
Goku Black, we go
base form. All right, Goku Black, Super Saiyan Rose, and Zamasu Fuse. I do disagree with this. I think Zamasu Fuse needs to be separate, like a whole different character, right? Goku Black should be a character, Super Saiyan Rose, and then you should have Zamasu on his own, like normal Zamasu, and then you should have merged Zamasu. That's the way. So altogether, that's about 4 different characters right there.
Of course, we already have Vegito and Trunks there. No need. Caulifla and Kaba.
So Caulifla and Kale and Kaba and Kefla. So that's 4 characters right there. And of course, they all have their own transformations, right? Kefla has her Super Saiyan transformation, and you can have her Berserk transformation as well. Caulifla, Super Saiyan 1, Super Saiyan 2. Kaba also has Super Saiyan 1 and Super Saiyan 2. So that should be in the game, in my opinion. And of course, Kefla, base form Kefla, Super Saiyan Kefla, and Super Saiyan 2 Kefla.
show up later in the Tournament of Power.
So yeah, that makes sense.
And then we add Frost and add Kefla right away. She'll show up later in the Tournament of Power, but to keep this somewhat organized, let's add Kefla right now. She's also got a transformation going from base to legendary. And then we add Frost and Hit to close out Universe 6. And then we have
Frost and Hit,
the Tournament of Power,
you know, that's what you should have. Dispo, Topo, and Jiren, yes. You also have, remember, you could have normal Topo here. You also got to remember God of Destruction Topo from the Tournament of Power. I think that he didn't include that here. So, yes, I do think you need God of Destruction Topo in the game, right? You can have normal Jiren, and you can also put full power Jiren as a separate character as well. So, those are some characters I think he's missing. Like I said, this is his list, you know, of what he thinks it could look like. This is not how it's actually going to look like in the game. We have no idea what the roster is going to look like. This is just his version as a, you know, with a Dragon Ball Super focus. Because it's not a bad list, but there are characters that he is missing from this list that I think should be and will be in Budokai Tenkaichi 4.
The Broly move has some
Alright, so you got the Broly movie characters, right? We know Broly has 4 forms on his own. Broly has his base form, his rage form, he has his Super Saiyan form, he also has his full power Super Saiyan form, right? Moro and Granola, we don't know if they're going to be in this game.
We don't have the support.
But if he is, right? Yes, Moro, if you read the manga, Moro has a lot of forms. So, yeah, I can think of 4 different forms for Moro off the top of my head. Old Moro, right? His normal one. You could have the Moro once he's, you can call him Prime Moro or whatever, right? Once he regains his magic powers. You could have Moro with, what's his name? The character OG73 absorbed. He can have that. He can also have Moro with Mears' powers. There's a lot of different Moros. But definitely, yeah. If Moro's in this game, there's going to be probably at least at minimum 3 different versions of him, if not 4, because Moro does have a lot of forms in the manga. Granola, if he's in the game, you only really need 1 version of him. But that version of Granola is going to have a lot of abilities because Granola has a lot of cool attacks in the manga. You know, but Granola doesn't have any transformations, really. Unless you want to have Granola with the red eyes. You could put that, you know. So, if that is a separate form of Granola, you could add if he is in the game. But, yeah, you know, definitely you can have 1 version of Granola or you could have 2. But, yeah, Granola, it should be max 2 different versions of Granola in this game. Gas, right? Gas, if he's in the game, yes, he's going to have a lot of forms just like Moro. Gas has so many different forms in the Granola arc. You have his adult version, you have his kid version, you have his berserk version, you have the old Gas. You know, like, yeah, there's like a lot of different versions of Gas you could put in this game. So yeah, if you're looking at having that huge roster that the Budokai Tenkaichi series is supposed to have, this is the way you're supposed to go.
So let's go ahead and add a character called.
So yeah, you can if you're gonna have the Dragon Ball superhero characters in the game, right? Like Gamma 1, Gamma 2, and Cell Max. Yes, you need to have Goten and Trunks in there, with the ability to transform into Super Saiyan. Teen Gotenks, that's an iffy since Teen Gotenks, we didn't see it in the movie officially. We saw them fuse into it, but we didn't see the actual appearance of Teen Gotenks. Of course, if he is in the game, or yes, it makes sense to have Teen Gotenks with base Super Saiyan 3, and you could have him with like similar powers as normal Gotenks from when he's a kid. But Teen Gotenks, I wouldn't expect to see him in there. But I would expect to have Goten and Trunks, or whatever you want to call them, Teen Goten and Trunks, adult Goten and Trunks, whatever you want to call it. But I would like to see them in there.
Super Saiyan 3. To 80.
So yeah, Gamma 1, Gamma 2, and Cell Max. Right, so this is basically the way he has it if it's just Dragon Ball Super Focus. Right? If it's just Dragon Ball Super Focus.
Characters is super optimistic. We cannot go over 80. We made it. Cap, I said 80 characters is super 80. I don't know how we made it. Right at the cap. I said 80.
So this is all together with his version of what the Budokai Tenkaichi 4 roster could look like with a Dragon Ball Super focus. You're already at 80 characters. That's without any DBZ characters in the game. That's a lot of characters. You know, of course, like, you got to include a lot of these characters have different forms, which is why it's so big. But you know, this would still be an amazing roster to have for the game, if it was just this with the Dragon Ball Super focus. But we need to add DBZ characters. So let's add them. All right, let's see. This is the way he did it. So he adds a version of DBZ Goku, which has base Kaioken, Super Saiyan 2, Super Saiyan 3. Right, this version of Goku's in Tenkaichi 3. So that would make sense because you're gonna want to have, you know, DBZ Goku with all of his Super Saiyan transformations before Super. You can add Frieza, right? So this is Frieza from DBZ with all of his forms, right, before Super, not including, you know, Golden and Black and all that. Cell from DBZ. Remember, Cell is separate. Cell Max and normal Cell are two different characters, so don't get them mixed up. So Cell, you know, imperfect Cell, semi-perfect Cell, perfect Cell, and super perfect Cell. That's 4 different versions right there. So that makes sense.
And I do think he would be a separate Cell Max without another Gohan.
And of course, yep, you can have Teen Gohan, right? You're not gonna have adult Gohan and not have Teen Gohan in here. Remember, he doesn't even have Kid Gohan in here. You know, so yes, Teen Gohan, base Super Saiyan 2. Makes sense. You could have Goten to Kid Goten and Trunks from the Majin Buu saga. You could have Gotenks, right, with his transformations, base Super Saiyan and Super Saiyan 3. All right, and you gotta add Buu. You gotta add Buu. So in his version now with DBS and DBZ characters, right, he's at 109 characters. Remember, Budokai Tenkaichi 3 had about 160 something characters. So with his list, just with DBS characters and DBZ characters, you're at 109 characters. Like I said, this is not what the game is actually going to look like, but this is him doing what it could be, right? If they had a DBS/DBZ focus. And remember, see, these are characters that are not even here that have to be in the game. These characters are going to have to be in the game. The outrage of not having these characters would be way too much. You have Bardock. And remember, you could have 2 different versions of Bardock. You could have Bardock from DBZ, and you could have Bardock from Dragon Ball Super. Those are 2 completely different characters right there. So that's one thing right there. Cooler, of course. Broly, and you can't forget all the other Z movie villains, right? Like Lord Slug and Turles, right? You know, Bojack, right? All of them. So you can't forget all those characters as well. Android 16, right? Some people are probably going to want Android 21 in there, you know? So, and look at this roster. And then, of course, you got the Majin Buus at the bottom. So, what he does is he cuts a bunch of characters from the list, right? Because he's trying to, what he thinks is, you know, there's going to be a good amount of characters that are going to come through DLC packs. You're going to have the base version of the game for $60, $70, right? With how many characters are in there. And then you're going to get a good amount of characters through DLC packs. We don't know what that's going to look like. We have no idea, once again, what the roster is going to look like, right? So he cuts some characters, right? But remember, his version is not what the actual game is going to look like. We have zero clue what the actual roster will be at the end of the day. We are just going to have to wait, right? But it is important to note that he's not, this version only includes DBZ and DBS characters. You know, we're forgetting the bunch of the movie villains. We're forgetting Dragon Ball. We're forgetting GT. And like I said, I would not be surprised if we see some Dragon Ball Heroes characters. I expect the roster for this game to be massive. But what I think they're going to do is there's going to be a set number of characters for the base game, and then you're going to see a shit ton of characters come through DLC. Will that make some people happy? Some people angry? Yes. There's gonna be some anger when people have to go pay $10 to potentially buy GT characters that were in Tenkaichi 3. There's gonna be some anger towards that, you know? But it is what it is. This is a business. They're gonna look to make a lot of money from this game. And if this game is the Tenkaichi game that we expect it to be, they're gonna make so much money. This has the chance to be the greatest Dragon Ball game of all time. This is a game that can last. You've seen that Tenkaichi 3, 15 years later, is still played. We wish we got a remaster for PS3, PS4, PS5, but people still play that game because they love it. People still play the Raging Blast game because they love it. People still play the Budokai games because they love it. People still play Xenoverse because they love it. If this game delivers, this is a game that will last for years and years to come. Xenoverse 2, 7 years later, and we're still getting DLCs for it. People still play Fighter Z, and it's been 5 years since that game came out. If this game delivers, this has the chance to be one of, if not the greatest Dragon Ball game of all time. A lot of these characters that you want in this game are probably going to come through DLC. I will buy the DLC as long as the game is good, and I expect the game to be good. But yeah, remember, this is 109 characters right here, without including like Dragon Ball GT with Super Saiyan 4, Super Goku, Super Saiyan 4 Vegeta, Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta, Omega Shenron, Baby Vegeta would evolve his form, Super 17, right? This is not including the Z villain, the Z movie villains like Lord Slug and Cooler and Broly and Turles, and all of them, right? This is not including Dragon Ball characters like, Kid Goku, Yajirobe, all of them. There's a lot of characters that are not on this list. When I tell you I will not be surprised. Like, say 5 years from now, once Budokai Tenkaichi 4 has been out for years and they've gone through all these DLCs, and who knows what we'll get in the future from Dragon Ball Super and Dragon Ball Heroes, right? Who knows? I could see this game potentially having over 200 characters in it. I could see that potentially happening. What would happen? I don't know. But if this game gives us all the characters we want, from the Budokai Tenkaichi 3 games and Dragon Ball Super and who knows what else they have planned. This could be, I could potentially see 200 characters in that game. And that is ridiculous to think about. But that just shows how large the Dragon Ball character universe is. And if this is going to be a Budokai Tenkaichi game, it's going to have that ridiculous roster. And it's something exciting to think about, but it's also kind of crazy and a little bit overwhelming to think about as well. But it's something super exciting. And I cannot wait to get this game. I wish we had more information now. But like I said, if I had to make a prediction, I don't think Budokai Tenkaichi 4 is even going to release till late this year at the earliest, because the amount of detail and the amount of files and the amount of work it's going to take for this game to look and feel as great as we want it to be, it's a lot of work. In 2023, it takes a lot to build a great game. And if we want Budokai Tenkaichi 4 to deliver, we're going to have to be patient. It might be all year we're going to spend waiting for this game, really. But as long as it delivers, that's all that matters, in my opinion. But yeah, and just so you get context here, this is the Budokai Tenkaichi 3 roster, right? You get this look. Look at this. Just look at the first row alone. Look at all those versions of Goku. Kid Goku, Great Ape Goku. They had 3 different versions of DBZ Goku, right? Kid Goku, Great Ape Goku. They had Goku from the beginning of Z. They had Goku at the middle of Z when he first learned how to go Super Saiyan. And they had Goku at the end of Z with Base, Super Saiyan 2, and Super Saiyan 3. Then they also had a Kid Goku. They had Kid Goku that could go from GT that could go Super Saiyan. And Super Saiyan 3. And they had Super Saiyan 4 Goku. So altogether, that's like, 11 versions of Goku, if I'm right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, That's 13 versions of Goku. That's 13 versions of Goku that they had in Budokai Tenkaichi 3. And I'm not even including fusions. I'm not even including Vegito and Gogeta. And imagine that. Imagine if they bring all 13 versions of Goku, right? All separate 13 versions of Goku in the Budokai Tenkaichi 4 and put Dragon Ball Super Goku on top of that, right? You could have almost 20 different versions of Goku in that game because you got Super Saiyan God, Super Saiyan Blue, you have Super Saiyan Blue Kaioken, DBS Goku in his base form. You have Master Ultra Instinct Sign. That's like 6 versions right there. And like I said, you could do if they bring all the versions of Budokai Tenkaichi 3 Goku in the Budokai Tenkaichi 4 and include Super. You could be looking at 20 different characters, 20 different Gokus. That's insane to think about, right? And of course, you see all the versions of Gohan they have in there. There's a good amount of Gohans, actually, because they had Kid Gohan, Teen Gohan, Adult Gohan, Great Saiyaman Gohan, Future Gohan, right? So there's actually a lot of Gohans in here. And of course, you actually had a lot of Vegetas as well. But you can see, look at it. There's a lot of Trunks in here because you had normal Trunks, you had Future Trunks, right? So, like I said, and look at all the versions of Frieza. So this roster could be absolutely massive, But it is exciting to think about. I'm serious. We could be looking at over 200 characters, really, if they they go in depth as we hope they do. But at the end of the day, I'm gonna be patient. We're gonna wait and see what we get. And of course, when this game comes out, it is going to be absolutely amazing, absolutely hype. But I know this was a long video, but I thank you guys for joining me. I hope you guys enjoyed it, but I definitely had a lot of thoughts on this game, and I really wanted to talk about them today. So hopefully you guys enjoyed. But yeah, all I want from Budokai Tenkaichi 4 is a great roster, a Dragon Ball Super focus in the story mode, and of course the gameplay to have that classic Budokai Tenkaichi 2, Tenkaichi 3 feel in the modern day with the PS5, Xbox Series X controls. That's all I want from the game, really, just those 3 things. And like I said, I think this game is going to be great. I cannot wait to find out more. As soon as we get more information about the game, I will be back and making more videos. I plan to make so much content when it comes to this game. I just want it now personally. But other than that, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you guys did, leave a like. Subscribe if you guys are new to the channel. Hit the bell because my name Fitz TV, so you guys are notified every time I post a new video. Thank you guys. I will see you guys later. Have a great night, guys. Peace.